Do you ever feel like watching porn jacking off is sucking out your energy and motivation that could be used to build your business? If you give me the next 15-20 minutes, I'll explain how exactly it is making you a leaking pipe at least three different levels, each one deeper than the first. And once you understand that, I'll suggest the most effective scientific tool that I've discovered to stop. And it's about becoming a surfer. Hi, my name is Fasi. I'm a certified expert coach. And if you need professional help to become a productivity machine for your business in the next 2 months, schedule a free strategy call with me below this video and we'll have a chat. I want to start off by saying that I don't think watching porn is bad or evil in any way. There's a reason that you do it. There's something that you get out of it. There's something that your subconscious mind gets out of it. That is why it craves it so badly. And if you demonize the behavior, it becomes difficult to even look at it. And if you don't look at it properly, you won't be able to understand it and get to its root cause. I'll talk more about it later in the video. I like to look at things at multiple levels. That's my style. So the three levels that watching porn affects you on is the first one is your brain. The second one is your emotions. And the third one is your psyche. Let me ask you this. Think back to the first time you watched porn or jacked off. How did that feel? Now compare that or contrast that to how it feels these days or how it felt if you did it today. I asked this question to my friend and his response was, in a half joking way, it feels like a chore that he has to get done with every single day. Now, Dr. Andrew Huberman, he describes addiction as the progressive narrowing of the things that bring you pleasure. And the more you watch porn, the more intense videos you need to derive the same amount of pleasure that you derived earlier. That is why I asked this question and established this contrast of the first time and today. And if you think about it, there's literally no end to more and more stimulating videos online. You can always find more. You have BDSM, threesomes, foursome, orgies, I don't know what all categories that are made with the very purpose of giving you more and more and more stimulation every single time so that you stick to it in the long run. And this progressively more and more and more stimulating videos, it affects an area in your brain, which I'm pretty sure you've heard of, called the dopamine center. And the dopamine center, the chemical dopamine, is responsible for your focus, your motivation, how good you feel, for how long you can focus. I don't even think so I need to say this by now. It's everywhere on the net. And this is what becomes your first leak in your business. Because if you can't focus, you can't build things. Coming to the second leak. Let's look at porn for what it really is. It is a way for you to avoid your emotions. And it's a really effective way. It's a really good one, actually. It could be a feeling of boredom. It could be a feeling of loneliness. It could be a feeling of incompetence. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It is, in the end, it's a very good tool. It's a very effective way to avoid whatever you're feeling in the moment. So whenever you're feeling an emotion, let's say emotion X, and you use porn to avoid it, it lowers down your ability to process that emotion, which is basically another way of saying that it lowers your emotional intelligence or EQ. And guess what is the single most important common denominator of success discovered across the spectrum? It's emotional intelligence. So this becomes your second leak. Watching porn reduces your emotional intelligence, EQ, which in turn reduces your chances to be successful and happy in your life, actually. And then finally, the third leak, which I believe is the biggest one. I recently read this book, No Bad Parts, and the crux of this book is that you are made up of different parts. And The way to deal with your difficult or unpleasant or negative parts is not to avoid them, not to suppress them, which is most probably what is happening here, at the level of your emotions, the leak which is at the level of your emotions. But instead of suppressing them, avoiding them, the best way is to talk to them, is to have literal conversations and to understand them, to be kind, to be compassionate. And this approach resonated with me highly. I loved it. So, around the same time when I was reading this book, I also watched a video by Charlie Morgan in which he says how these parts have certain non negotiable needs, needs that have to be met at any cost. So, let me give you an example. Let's say I have this need for intimacy. Now, I can fulfill this need for intimacy by being with a real person, a real beautiful person, and being close to them. And my need for intimacy will be met. Let's say P stands for person. But instead, I can watch porn videos on my device at the click of a button. The kind of, like, I can literally choose the ethnicity, the kind of the category, how much stimulation I want, how many people I want in that video at the click of a button, which is much less effort. So let's say this is a cheap substitute, which is another P, a red P, which stands for porn. Now, if I have this, it's almost like my mind has a shortcut to get this need for intimacy met. My mind would lose motivation for achieving intimacy through finding a real person, which is a lot of work, to be frank. Now, watching porn does not only fulfill your need for intimacy, it can also fulfill other needs like need for dominance if you watch BDSM, or need for status if you watch models getting fucked. And the same need for dominance, for status, can be achieved and can be channeled or transmuted towards your goal of earning dash amount of money every month. And that, I believe, is the biggest leak of watching porn. That is your core needs being met to a very good extent. The same needs that have so much power, so much potential, which you can take and transmute towards your business goals. Now, if all of this is resonating with you so far, and if you'd like to apply this in your life, click the link below and I'll help you do that. Now, if you're convinced, here's how you can beat the habit. This is the most effective science-backed tool that I've discovered to beat any unhelpful habit, any habit that's harming you. I learned it from this book, The Willpower Instinct, and it's called Surfing the Urge. I talked about it in my last video, which I recorded just right now. Now, to understand this, let me ask you, have you ever had this experience when you felt hungry, like a moment when you felt hungry, but you didn't act on that hunger, you didn't eat anything, and after a while, maybe half an hour, 1 hour later, the hunger went away, the urge to eat went away. If you relate to this, this is exactly the way every single urge in your body functions. Be it the urge to watch porn, be it the urge to scroll, be it the urge to whatever really. It's almost like it is a wave. Every urge is like a wave, and your job is not to fight the wave or suppress it, but rather to become a surfer and not resist the urge. If you don't resist the urge and you just stay with it in your body, you close your eyes, you relax, you just accept the urge, stay with it, you'll notice that it comes up, it gets stronger like a wave, and then it goes back as well. It goes away as well. A lot of people think there are only two things they can do when an urge arises. Either they can push it or they can act on it. So if you get the urge to watch porn, a lot of people are like, do 10 push-ups, but that is in a way you pushing it, and it does not work in the long run. It's not healthy. And if you just end up watching, it's fine, no one's judging, but again, If your goal is to transcend the habit, it does not help, or overcome the habit, this does not help. The middle way is to become a surfer. This is the middle way, and it is based upon mindfulness. You becoming mindful of the urge, you accepting it, just relaxing, closing your eyes, and feeling the urge. Pro tip, if you wanna experience this right now, pause this video, set a timer for 2 to 3 minutes, sit absolutely still like a statue. If you feel the urge to move or itch any part of your body, watch that urge instead of acting on it. So don't act, don't push, just be mindful of that urge and stay with it. You'll notice that after a while it goes away. It's very fascinating. And if you do this, this is the crux of meditation, you'll be strengthening the part of your brain that will help you overcome the urge to watch porn as well. So the next time you get the urge to watch porn, instead of opening your browser, open up your clock app, set a timer for 2 minutes, and just close your eyes and sit with that urge. And just realize and just notice how you don't have to act on it, you don't have to suppress it, you can just stay with it, it comes up and it goes away. Become a surfer, literally. And try to be consistent with this habit of surfing urges because the more you do it, the stronger your mindfulness gets. And when it comes to surfing the urge, you can literally not lose. Because best case scenario, you set up the timer for 3 minutes, you stay with that urge and you end up not acting on it for 3 minutes later. Worst case scenario, you sit with the urge for 3 minutes and you're like, I still feel like watching. You're free to watch, but remember that for those 3 minutes, you practice your willpower. You practiced your mindfulness, which in the long run will make you more effective. Because the more mindful you are, the more control you have over yourself. If you feel like you need professional help with all of this, click the link below and schedule a free strategy call with me, and we'll have a chat to see whether you're a right fit. Now, if you're able to overcome your urge and stop the leaks, but you still find yourself procrastinating, the problem goes deeper than that. And I talk about how to beat this tendency to procrastinate from its very core in this video, the core being, spoiler alert, emotions. So if you want to end procrastination from its very roots and become more disciplined for your business, you can click here.